Good morning, everyone. It's Saturday, May 1st, and you're at F-150 Studios in beautiful Starbucks, California. Yes, this morning, May 1st, May Day, the glorious celebration of international communism. And the staff at Starbucks are suitably attired in their leftist social justice warrior t-shirts today. I don't know if that's a corporate policy for today or what, but everybody in there is wearing them. So, just getting through a few things here. I got the second COVID jab last week, Pfizer, and so another week, and ostensibly I am properly immunized and able to go out and about my business as normal, except, of course, the public health people are busy telling us that, well, even after you're vaccinated and even after everyone's vaccinated, you're still going to have to wear masks and you're still going to have to socially distance. It's like they don't want us going back to our normal lives. Like they kind of have gotten addicted to that dopamine hit of power and they're not willing to give it up. No, that couldn't possibly be right, could it? So, um, yeah, interesting week. Representative Tim Scott delivered the Republican response to Joe Biden's State of the Union address. Biden is the president of unity, and he wants to unify the country. Except if you don't agree with him, you're racist. And I guess we're supposed to unify under the idea that we're all racists. It's a very odd sort of unity that he wants to impose. And of course, he's planning massive, 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 massive spending expenditures. Way more money than the U.S. government has. Any money's more than the U.S. government has. We're $24 trillion in debt. That never, that's not an amount you can repay. Or I should say that was the debt before the pandemic. I haven't even looked at the figures lately, um, but the country already is in debt, way more than we can ever pay. Um, Biden's monetary advisors, the modern monetary theory crowd, say it doesn't matter because the government can just print all the money it wants. Well, if that's the case, why do they need to tax us at all? Taxation then simply is a means of controlling us. It's not economically required. According to modern monetary theory, the government just can print. Um, it's an interesting sort of theory. But anyway, back to Tim Scott. Of course, the left turned on him just viciously after his address. Um, Interesting to see, like white privilege, like Joy Behar, denouncing a black man for having, a different opinion that he's supposed to. But it's not new. When I was in college, we were going through the anti-apartheid divestment movement, universities uh, being pushed to divest themselves of any investments with companies that did business in South Africa or what was then Rhodesia, now Zimbabwe. And the committed activists there never were committed to black majority rule. By the way, why does black matter? As long as is skin color is a majority, that policies don't matter, just skin color. That sounds kind of racist. But anyway, but they never were committed to black majority rule. That was a stalking horse for communist rule. They did not support anti-communist blacks, even in the majority. They didn't support the Zulus in South Africa, the majority. They supported the African National Congress, which is a communist movement, ethnically Fenda, by way of the largest tribal affiliation. The second in command of the African National Congress, really the guy actually running it with Nelson Mandela locked up in prison. And why was he in prison for so long? Well, it's because he refused to renounce the use of violence, including the Church Street bombing that killed and maimed a number of people. Because the authorities, say, hey, you just renounce the use of violence, and we settle this through the political means, and you're out of prison. And Nelson said no. So, um, but um, but the second in command of the African National Congress, Joe Slovo, what tribe was he from? Um, Lithuanian. He was actually a colonel in the Lithuanian KGB, so a Soviet operative there in South Africa. I guess foreign interference is okay in some cases. But Tim Scott, of course, was denounced, among other things, as Uncle Tim, and that's funny because if for anyone who's actually read Uncle Tom's Cabin, Tom's a hero. He's a man of tremendous moral courage. He does not hesitate to stand for what's right, uh, even at tremendous cost to himself, beatings and ultimately his own death. And in his death, an act of Christian piety, he forgives his killers, and in doing so turns their hearts. So if someone wants to call a black man Uncle Tom, they're actually calling him a hero. But again, you have to have read Uncle Tom's Cabin, which means you actually have to have read something in your life other than social justice warrior bumper stickers. Um, so had a contact with a fellow ham radio operator this morning. He was testing his rig. He's over not just across town, but he's in another city, and he couldn't hear me terribly well. I was on my little 5 watt handy talkie. If I've been successful in getting the mobile radio installed here in Studio A at F-150 Studios, KN6NPZ, we we probably would have had a bit more success because then I would have been going out on 50 watts rather than 5. But I just can't figure out a good way through the firewall for the power wire. I can pull, there's a great spot for the coax, a very easy entry for the coax for the antenna, but the power wire doesn't have the length to reach that, and getting in on that side of the battery is proving problematic. I may just throw in the towel when I take the truck in for service and say, hey, guys, if you're going to have it up in the air, you may have a little easier time. Go ahead and drill a hole and put a grommet if you need to, going in from underneath, because getting in from up top, uh, gosh, I'd have to be about the size of a I'd have to be about the size of a sewer rat to work my way in on that side of the truck on the right, and then the cab is just covered with everything: the glove box, the center console, the sound deadening. So getting through and past all that is maybe a little bit above my pay grade at this point. I'll work on it some more and see what happens. Anyway, everybody, you have a very good day, and I will talk to you later. Bye.